the holy night. The stars are brightly shining. It is the night. Our dear Savior's birth. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. It's great to have you. Merry Christmas. Hey, Stella. It's good to have you. Please share the video so we can learn how to protect our wealth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How are you preparing for Christmas tomorrow? So let me know how many people just love the Christmas spirit. I feel like Christmas is one of my favorite holidays. I think during Christmas, everybody's just happy. You can barely annoy anybody during Christmas, right? So Christmas is a great time to ask for forgiveness. If you've annoyed anybody, they usually just, forgive you. So how many people just love Christmas? And if you don't like Christmas, what is your favorite holiday? Let me know. So Merry Christmas. Oh, I'm sorry. I put on the flyer that we were gonna start today at 2 p.m. because I just came back from church, and mass closed at 12:30. So by the time I got home, it was going to be later than 1 p.m. So that's why I put on the flyer that we're gonna start at 2 p.m. Central today. So I should have put an extra notice to let you guys know that we were going to be starting later than 1 p.m. So, but I tried to put it on the flyer today that it was going to be 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 9 p.m. Cameroon time. But maybe I didn't do a good job of really highlighting that. So that's why we are starting today at 2 p.m. So my apologies if that wasn't really my apologies if that did not come across to you guys. So I do apologize for that. But thank you for being here nevertheless. But that is the reason why I came on today at 2 p.m. because instead of 1 p.m. because my service, like I said, run later than or usually runs later than the time when usually come on. So it was impossible for me to be here at 1 p.m. But we're here now. So we're gonna dish out some financial information. So please, please, please share so others can join us. Like the video so it can go out to other people. We're gonna be talking about the last part of wealth building, which is how to protect our wealth. We've been talking all through this 12 days about how to grow wealth, how to lay that foundation, but we need to learn how to protect our wealth. So for those who have been with us throughout these 12 days, I appreciate you. I know it's not easy to show up here every day, and I really appreciate you for showing up because I will not be here if you're not here and you give me the boost to come out here every day. And so thank you for being my motivation. So I really appreciate you for showing up. And I hope that you have learned a thing or two by showing up here. The goal is that, we do not just give out the giveaway, which is the money, but that you get the financial information, which I tell you guys is more valuable than just the money. Because, yes, you might get the money, but if you don't know how to manage that money, then you will not be able to grow that wealth, which is the hope that by being on this platform, you're going to learn simple ways. That's why I give you bite-sized actionable information, so that you're going to learn simple ways to grow your money, manage your money, grow your wealth, and so you can be able to grow wealth, so that for generations to come, the information that you have learned on this platform, your families are going to be able to still benefit from the wealth that you build. Okay, so we are not just learning quick ways to grow money, we are learning sustainable ways to grow money, real ways to grow money on this platform. So please invite others to join us, so that they can also learn to grow wealth. They can also learn ways that they can change their family history. They can also learn ways to build generational wealth, so that we can build our communities. And by building our communities, more people can also live the life that they want, the life that they deserve, because are we all deserve to live the life that we really want. So again, thank you for being here. And let me know in the comments from the video yesterday, what was your biggest takeaway? Because yesterday, we did. I'm just reading through the comments. Right, thank you for being here. Yes, Solange, thank you so very much. I do appreciate you guys. Bliss Chai, thank you so very much. Sanjang, thank you for being here today. I know you haven't been here because of one reason or the other thing. Hey, Clenis, thank you. Good evening. Thank you for being here. So, what was your biggest takeaway from yesterday's video? Drop it in the comments on what one actionable step did you take away, because another thing we do is we want to look back and say, okay, here's one takeaway I am going to implement from the video. Here is one thing that I have learned that I am going to do, because we just don't want to learn and go shove it, because we talk about planning, we don't want to stay in the planning phase, right? What is one thing that I am going to do to make my life better? So, what is your biggest takeaway from the um, video that we talked about yesterday? So, we did talk about 6 things that you want to do before you invest. So, what is one thing that you learned from the video yesterday? All right. So, while we are dropping that in the comments, and for those who do not know me, for who are here for the first time, hi Nelly, thank you for being here. I am Sylvie. I am a nurse practitioner by profession. I want to say in the daytime. Oh, anyway, I am a nurse practitioner, but I am also a certified financial educator, and I teach people simple ways to manage their money, like I said, and I am not a financial investor. So everything I say on this platform is for educational purposes. Please, before you invest your money, I encourage you to consult with a licensed and person that you trust, financial advisor, and make sure that you do your own research. Okay? With that being said, today, we're going to talk about 9 ways that you can protect your wealth. And as we go along in the video, if you have any comments, drop them in the comment section and I will get to them in maybe in the course of the video or at the end of the video. Claudia said her biggest takeaway was how to manage her money. Stella said, I will have to look for people's problems to solve, and that will give me money. All right. So yes, we did talk about that you got to look for people's problems to solve, because if you can solve people's problems, then that will be a way to generate money. So great. Thank you for mentioning that. I've I have to take note of the risks, and also I have to draw a plan. Yes, we draw a plan. So yes, we did talk about you always have to have an exit plan. So I am glad that you guys have the takeaway from yesterday's video. And if you were not here yesterday, you can always go back and watch yesterday's video, because we did talk about important things about investing. All right. So the very first way that you want to protect your wealth is to have an emergency fund. So an emergency fund is important. So what is, again, is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of your living expenses, right? So if you were to lose your job, if you were to have a child that's sick, if your car was to break down, if you have, if something in your house was to break down, if somebody was to call you unexpectedly, like, okay, your grandmother is sick, your mom is sick, where is the money going to come from? It's going to come from your emergency fund, right? But if you don't have an emergency fund and you're trying to build wealth, so what happens? You're going to have to go to Njangi and borrow from Njangi. You're going to have to go to a credit card and borrow from a credit card, right? But if you have an emergency fund, you go to the emergency fund and take money from the emergency fund. So that's why it's important to have an emergency fund, because an emergency fund protects you the wealth that you're building. And people don't think about it because it's like, okay, I need to build and invest. But if you're building without having an emergency fund, which an emergency fund is like a roadblock between the money that you're building and the money that you're building and problems, right? Because if a problem comes and this is your emergency fund is going to be like, "Ooh, hold on, let me solve this problem so you don't get to my wealth," right? So create that emergency fund so that if that problem comes, you just dip into the emergency fund and solve the problem. Because if that problem comes and you don't have that emergency fund, then you go borrowing, or now it sets you back, because now you gotta go borrow from you go into debt, or now you go to dip back into that wealth that you're building, and it shakes your financial foundation. All right. So put that roadblock between the wealth that you're building and any problems that you might have. Okay. So 3 to 6 months of your emergency fund. And we did talk about how to calculate your expenses, I think, way back a couple of days ago. So check out that video on how to calculate your expenses. The second thing is, it's good to ask questions from experts about investment plan and also do your personal research. Yes, Yomi, we did talk about that. So always ask questions from experts and do your research. Always, always, always do your research. Just because somebody tells you something, and I say it too, right? I am here talking to you guys, but I tell you guys that because I'm talking to you, it doesn't mean that what I'm saying is a gospel truth. Okay. So I tell you guys that because I don't know what Stella is going through. I don't know what Yomi is going through. I don't know where Hale is going through. All right. So if somebody asks me a question, like you guys might ask me a question, and people ask me questions all the time on the platform, and I tell them this, I cannot give you a comprehensive answer because I don't know your financial situation. Because when I coach people, I need to know a full picture of what your financial situation is before I can give you a comprehensive answer. So I cannot just give you a blanket answer because I don't know exactly, like, okay, what is your plan for your kids? What is it? Are you taking care of your mom? How much money do you actually have? What are your spending habits? What are your goals? So I need to have a comprehensive picture before I can even give you an answer. Okay. So don't just take what I am saying and then run with it. I need you to sit down, punch your numbers, and do your research. So that's why I tell you guys before I start my video and say, here is what I'm saying, but go do your research and apply it to your personal situation, because I am educating you guys so that you can take this financial education and go do research and not just be like dummies and somebody comes and says something and you just be like, okay, here is my money, go. No, I want you guys to be smart enough, financially savvy. That is the goal of this platform. Financially smart enough to say, I'm going to take my money and make financially smart decisions with my money so that I will grow my money in a way that is smart, because this way works for me, my financial goals, and where I want my money to go. That's the way you make smart financial decisions. Okay. So, what I'm teaching you is to apply it to your personal financial situation. And that's why we call it personal finance. All right. With that being said, the second way to grow, to protect your wealth, is to get adequate insurance. Now, with insurance, we have all kinds of insurance. We talked about life insurance before. We also have rentals insurance if you rent. We also have mortgage insurance. If you have a home, we also have health insurance. We also have care insurance. So basically, what insurance is saying, I do not have enough money to protect this asset if something was to happen to it. So I'm going to transfer this responsibility to somebody else. Okay. So, okay, for example, if I take insurance on myself, take out insurance on myself, right? And that's the reason why I say take term life insurance, right? Because if I build wealth to the point where I have enough insurance to cover myself and my family doesn't have to bother, then I don't need life insurance on myself because I have enough money that my family is going to be covered. So I don't need to be insurance on me because I've built enough wealth that my family is going to be okay. All right. So that's basically what insurance is. So then that term insurance is, I don't need to be paying that, as a lot that money for insurance because I know I've built enough generational wealth for my family where they can tap into it. Right. So I stop paying it. It's term. For example, it's an example. Or for example, it's you take out what do you say? Insurance on say your phone, right? If I go buy a phone and they say, oh, do you want insurance on your phone? And I say no. If this phone breaks, I can cover it. I'm not going to take insurance on the phone because I have enough money where if this phone breaks, I can cover this phone, right? So that's basically what insurance is. It's saying I have enough money to cover something, or I do not have enough money to cover this, so let me transfer the liability of it to somebody else. But if you do not, what do? Oh, I'm going to pay every month for this so that somebody else can cover it. So that's how you protect, you know, that. So make sure you're getting insurance on that, because if not, guess what happens? If that phone breaks down, or if you break down and you don't have insurance, what happens? Oh, now you were bringing income into your home, and now there is no income. Your family is going to suffer if you, for example, you don't have life insurance, or if, for example, you get sick and you don't have health insurance. What happens? Now you got to pay a high amount. Or if your home breaks down and you don't have home insurance, what happens? Now you got to pay a high amount. But if you had home insurance, now you have transferred everything to the people we're paying home insurance for. So that's basically what it is. You're just transferring the liability to somebody else who getting insurance. The other third way you can protect your wealth is you spread it across different asset classes. We talked about that a little bit yesterday, so I'm not going to go much into it. It's like investing in different vehicles. Like you have real estate, you have mutual funds. So you're not just investing. I'm going to invest in the stock market. No, I'm going to invest in the stock market. Now I'm also going to invest in real estate. Now the fourth way is, even in the stock market, I'm going to invest in mutual funds, I'm going to invest in bonds, I'm going to invest, because we talked about how different asset classes have carry different risk, right? So maybe, like we talked about, the 20-year-old has longer time to invest, so they might want to invest in more stocks, right? So they might buy um you know more stocks in their they might buy more stocks. But then somebody who it has a shorter time might decide that, okay, you know what, I'm gonna buy more bonds. That's just how they might decide that their investment strategy is going to be, right? So diversifying your investment in such a way that you, depending on your financial situation, you're taking risks based on your financial situation, right? But again, like I said, you want to do your research, you want to do your talk to a licensed financial investor, and making sure that you're diversifying your investment across asset classes so that you're protecting your wealth in case something were to happen. You don't lose money, right? So just check all the different holdings and all the different industries, and making sure that, okay, if I put it in this one, if I put it in that one, what are my options? Okay. So, and we talked about all the questions you should be asking those investment professionals yesterday. So if you did not watch the video, please go watch the video before you choose an investment professional that you should be investing with, because you want to make sure that you are investing with the right investment advisor. You don't want to give your money to somebody who is not going to invest it in something that you really want. The fifth way you want to protect your money is by making sure that you are planning for taxes, because we talked about how taxes can really eat into your money. Taxes and fees. All right. So if you're not planning for taxes and you're not utilizing tax favored accounts, then they can really eat into your investment. That is money that you would have otherwise been putting into your investments. Now, if somebody who is not investment savvy goes and invest your money into invest excuse me, if somebody who is not investment savvy goes and takes your money and invest them into investment vehicles that are not tax favored, now your money is making money, but then when you go to withdraw your money, for example, you have to pay so much taxes, then you lose money, right? So yesterday I talked to you about how you have like the Roth IRA and you have the traditional IRA. So now the Roth IRA, for example, you put in money there that is tax, that is you money after taxes. But then when you withdraw the money, you don't pay taxes on, right? So for example, now for you go and put your money in there, and then when you go to withdraw that money, you don't pay any taxes, right? And so if you go to invest with somebody that doesn't tell you that, right, and another person goes in there and tells you to go use, for example, a brokerage account that is not tax favored, right? So you put your money in there and you go to withdraw it and you pay taxes on it. Whereas somebody goes and uses the Roth IRA, puts their money in there, and then when they go during retirement and they're withdrawing money, but they're not paying taxes on it. When you do the math, you realize that that person who used the Roth IRA is saving so much money on taxes. Meanwhile, you decided to use a brokerage account that was taxed, or that put money in there without paying taxes, when they're withdrawing their money, now they're paying so much taxes on, right? Now, with that being said, people choose this accounts for various reasons. Maybe some people want to save taxes upfront right now, and so they choose the accounts. They might choose, okay, I'm going to use the traditional IRA because I want to save money right now. So it depends on your individual preferences. But again, like I said, you have to make sure that you're making an informed decision for why you're choosing the traditional IRA right now versus the Roth IRA. Okay. But just know that Roth beats traditional anytime. Okay. Now, the sixth way you can save money is by estate planning. So when people talk about estate planning and wills, they always say, okay, I'm too young. I don't need to talk about wills. But how many times have you heard that a young person got hit by a car, or, something happened to them and they die? All the time. And then you hear, okay, they left a 2-year old behind, or they left a 4-year old. Oh my god, that boy be not only picking for your mommy, yeah. Or that girl be not only picking for your mommy. Oh mommy, yeah, that mommy don't bury the 4 of you picking that, yeah. Oh, that pa don't bury, see that pa. How many times have you heard that? Right? So as long as you're living, breathing, walking, you need a will. Somebody please type that in the comments. As long as you're living, breathing, walking, you need a will. I was talking to my dad. I was like, you all need to be writing wills. Like, where do you want to bury you? Where did my dad was looking at me like, because our parents are not used to this stuff. Like, you want to key me? Papa, no one key. I just want to know, like, I know I made them bury them. My brothers would be like, you just said more carry papa, go more carry papa, she don't for you, papa. No, 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 no. Like, Let's have these discussions. Do you want us to cremate you? Do you want us to put you in the coffin? Do you want us to this? Like, let's have these discussions. As long as you're lucky that your dad or your mom is alive, please have that conversation with them. Papa will say hide all that your money. Now from banda you put them, now for head wrapper you tie them, like, because you don't want your parents to die and then somebody comes and say, okay, yeah, probably don't send me that land. Mm-hmm. And then you think that, okay, because you had that land in the back, it was actually your land, but no, your father had borrowed money, and then now the land is no longer yours. They're kicking you guys out of the house. Like, our parents don't even talk about these things. So please, if you're on this platform, mm, tomorrow when you're eating Christmas dinner, because it's a happy time, sit your parents down and say, I love you, daddy. I love you, papa. Or na papa or your mommy. I said people who call their parents daddy and mommy are people who eat bread and tea in their house. So me, I call my papa and mommy, they will call nobody chop breakfast for us. But anyway, that aside. So tomorrow, during Christmas, it's a good time because everybody's happy. Tell your parents that, papa, so when you die, how you want me to do? You want me to take you go village because you know say I'm bad now. You want me to bury you for Cali Church? You want me to bury you for house, corner house? You want me to do how? You know, you want me, like, no, you're not trying to kill your father because your father would die anyway. Your mother would die. They're not gonna stay here. No. So have those conversations with your parents. And then that Django way you did, so you owe money for the, because I know one time you die, then they started calling me, so you owe papa man, no, you do owe money. Because if you do owe money, we'll start see how we go pay that money. Eh, papa, just mommy, just tell me, right? And how many Njangi you did it? Because they don't even tell you how many Njangis they are in. So I'm telling you, this should be Christmas, this thing. Tomorrow I'm gonna ask you guys, so how many people had this conversation over Christmas, this thing? Ask your parents, they should be telling you. All right. Okay, how many Njangi you did it? All right. So, Papa, if you get accident tomorrow, you know if you talk, you want me then begin to pump your chest, the pump your chest, the pump your chest, or you want my live and me you go because you feel stay for that machine forever and ever and ever. Or you want my live and me they leave you me you go because if they ask me question, I don't know what you want them. Wait till you want my talk me then do you. Like Papa tell me, mommy tell me. Because brother for you if you want me then make a me go, or sister if you want me then no make a me go. So wait till you want me then do you. Tell me now. So that me all we me brother sister mo yeah. From your mouth. Mommy tell me. Mo no. Because you know one died, I mean me brother sister will begin the fight. You know what me I begin them fight. Tell we mo no. Have these conversations with your parents because when they die, have you heard that parents die and they keep them in the coffin for 6 months because the brothers and sisters and the in-laws are fighting? It's true. So ask them, what do you want us to do? We don't want to keep them in the machine for 2 years because sister wants them to stay, brother wants them to stay. No, ask them to say it because if they don't say it, tell them, okay, this is what's going to happen to you. And if they don't answer, okay, that's what's going to happen. Right? So tell them this is Christmas. They shouldn't cross New Year without telling you. And this is what's going to happen. If you don't say it, this is what I'm going to do. And God be your witness. You've tried. Now, when that time comes, you're going to sleep at night, clear conscience, because God is your witness that you tried. Okay, this is what I read there was a today in church. They actually said that it was something to the tune of when you know, then you actually wear the crown, a heavier crown, because you got to do better. You all are here learning these things, so you have the heavier crown of doing better. Okay, so you have to go now and do this thing so that when the time comes, you can sleep better at night knowing that I tried my best. All right, and God will not hold you, fault you because you didn't try. Me, I tried my best by telling you guys. So I'm gonna sleep better at night knowing that God gave me this information. I did my best. I came and gave you guys. So night's your problem. All right, moving on. So these different things I told you about, I'm going to put it in English. The very first one is a will. So a will basically says, how do you want your um estate to be shared when you die? You have so much money. Do you want your kids, your grandkids, how do you want us to distribute it, right? And then the next one is power of attorney. Who do you want to make decisions for you when you cannot, you're not able to, who do you want to distribute your assets for you? Who do you want to make these decisions for you? And then the health one I was talking about, if you cannot make this decision, who do you want to make these healthcare decisions for you, right? So these are just again, like I said, documents that you assign people to make decisions for you if you cannot make these decisions for yourself, or that you put into place so that your money that you work for is distributed the way you want to be distributed. Because for example, if you work so hard, right, and you make a will and you don't go to redo the will, and then you get divorced, right? Because I've told you guys, another thing is you got to go back and review this thing, and then you die, and then that wife or husband that you don't like and is still on the will comes and takes this money, and then your kids don't take that money, right? So you go back and make sure that you're reviewing this will every 6 months, every 12 months, and say, okay, I don't you don't want you want the right person to take that money. You want the right person to make that decision for you. So another thing is you want to be reviewing these documents and making sure that the right people are there making the right decisions for you, and that when you're on life support, that bitter husband or wife does not come and unplug you. I'm just kidding, please, Lord Jesus. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Moving on. The second way you want to manage your money is, or to protect your asset, is to manage your debt. So debt basically is money that you're paying to people and stealing away from your own self, right? So if you owe people and you have such a high interest, um, as somebody said, they've never heard their parents talk about wills. Yeah, our parents don't talk about wills, because immediately you open your mouth, your father will be like, "Oh, you want to kill me?" I'm like, "Papa, no, if you kill you, you die anyway. Like me and you, I don't know whether you go die before me. Like, I'm just saying, I know one. Yeah, our parents don't talk about it, but we have to talk about it. This we know better now. We've seen things that happen, right? So we have to talk about it. Okay. So debt management, like I said, debt is money that they're taking away from us. Debt is money that we is stealing away from our income, is stealing away from us, our ability to build wealth, right? The way you speak in pigeon finished me up. I know somebody said I should give up pigeon. Like I can't speak pigeon to save my life. I know. I'm trying. I'm trying. Please, you gotta give me credit. I know. Yeah, I need to give up pigeon. Yeah, but I'm trying. Um, so we need to find a way to get rid of our debt. And one of the ways I encourage you guys to pay off your debt is use the debt snowball. So start paying off your smallest debt and work your way up, because it gives you the motivation to pay off your debt faster. The eighth way you want to protect your asset is to use to watch out what you put out in the internet, right? Make sure that you're protecting your accounts, your passwords, because if they steal your identity, right, then they can really hurt you. If you have like a business, they can steal your business. If your business is on the internet, for example, and somebody comes, how many times have you seen somebody post like, okay, I don't get access to my Facebook, someone does steal my account, like your credibility, right? So you got to be careful, because if somebody takes your Facebook account, somebody takes your business, somebody steals um your identity, that's money and time that you might be fighting to try to get back your identity, right? And sometimes you might not be able, like here, they can take your tax money or your tax refund, right? So we just have to be careful and make sure that we're protecting our identity. And some ways to do that is we have the two-factor authentication. Make sure that if you're on Facebook, make sure that you have activated that. your two-factor authentication on all your accounts. Make sure that you're using strong passwords on all your accounts, so that if you log into your accounts, or somebody's trying to log into your accounts, you get notifications. So put on all those safety measures. And then if you have like a business, you want to have like an LLC, so that something which are happening to your business, they don't come directly for you. They can come to your business is protected. So it's just measures like that that are protecting you, and ensuring that they're not coming to take all your wealth from you that you have really built. Okay. And then the ninth way is credit protection, because a lot of the times here people build their credit, and they don't think to, okay, I'm gonna come and check how my credit is doing. But then people, like I said, they come steal your credit. They can go open credit accounts in your name. So another way to do is just go every year, go check your credit report. I do have people open accounts in my name. So you can do that by the only approved credit site here in the US is annualcreditreport.com. So somebody please type that in the comments. It's annualcreditreport.com. So it's free to check your credit there. So just check it every year and see if somebody has opened up a credit in your name. And if they have, the very first thing you want to do is just notify the credit bureau and lock your credit. Okay. So those are 9 ways that you can use to protect your wealth. And real quick, I'm going to do a recap, and then I'll look through the comments if you have any questions, so that we can go about our business and start celebrating Christmas. So the very first way is to build an emergency fund. The second way is to get insurance. The third way is to thank you, Honey, for typing that. First way is to build an emergency fund. The second way is to get adequate insurance. The third way is to diversify across asset classes. And then fourth, even within the same asset classes, you want to diversify. And then the fifth way is tax planning. And then we have estate planning, and then debt management. And then we have cybersecurity and credit protection. So there we have it. So let me see. So Clinic said, it's good to ask so we know our tradition. Some people don't know the right things so to do and the right time to do it. That's good. I think sometimes people don't do things out of ignorance, right? So it's good to educate people. And I think that the other thing is our approach. So it is not what you say, but how you say it. So you got to be careful the way you approach people, right? Because you don't want to say things to people and then they feel that you're saying it out of malice. So you got to watch your approach when you talk about these things, because we have already established that money is a taboo topic in our culture. So when you are talking about money, you got to tread lightly. And I noticed that when you inject humor in it, then people are more receptive to it. So don't go to talk about money and you show up with a pen and paper and like bow tie and be like, okay, number one. Uh-uh. Nobody's even gonna want to talk to you, right? So just play it light, make it a lighthearted conversation, try to inject some humor and relate it to something that they like. They're gonna be more receptive to that conversation. And yeah. So any more questions? So yeah. Okay, I don't see any more questions. Oh yeah, that you've never heard your parents talk about wills. Yeah, no, African parents do not um African parents do not talk about wills. It's uh, it's not in our culture to talk about wills. It's not in our culture to even talk about building wealth. It's not in our culture to talk about handing out building generational wealth. It's not in our culture to talk about, okay, if something were to happen to me, here is how I want you to do things, right? And so when something happens now, our whole foundation is shaken because we don't even know how our parents were running their business. Now all of a sudden we're business owners. Like, okay, where are the accounts? Where are the books? Where are the what was happening? Because there's such secrecy around how our parents handle money. They don't even want to tell you. They don't want to tell you how much they make. They don't want to tell you how much the business runs. Like, they don't bring you to the table to tell you, okay, here's how things are run, right? Meanwhile, it is encouraged that you should start teaching kids from an earlier age how to manage money, because the earlier you start teaching them, the better they get with money. But our parents did not teach us that. Um, the biggest thing they taught us was, you need to go to school. You need to go become a doctor. Go become a doctor. That's the only thing they taught us. Because if you did not become a doctor, you did not take first in school, oh, you were done for. Like, why you not take first? That's all they taught us in our African culture, right? But they didn't even, nothing was talked about, like, as far as money. So, but it is something that we need to start incorporating in our kids' life. Like, when you go to the market to buy tomatoes, okay, this tomato is 100 francs CFA. Okay, so watch me bargain and bring it down to maybe, however much you're gonna bargain or increase it, so that they can start learning the skills of negotiation. That is how we teach our kids how to negotiate, so that they can carry those skills to into their businesses. But no, we were not taught that. But again, like I said, now we need to teach our kids, okay, this is how much I make. This is how much our groceries are going to cost. So here's how much we're going to save this month. How can we save? This is how we need to do. Why? This is why we need to turn off the lights. Here is now, like I usually tell my kids, okay, we have to save. You have $20. You need to save 20%. You need to tithe, 10%. You need to tithe this. So what are you going to do? And so she breaks the money down, right? Because I need her. She can go buy, you want to go buy toys for $40. Can you afford it? But this is making her think, like, even though you have $20, you can't just go spend that money, right? So maybe buy them a piggy bank so that they can start putting the money in there and making them start thinking. So introducing them that concept of money early on, so that they can start learning how to manage money, and knowing that they will take on this money that you're working hard for. Because think about it, right? You work so hard to manage this money, and you give this money to them, and they don't know how to manage this money. What happens? All the money is going to get lost. And it has been shown that money gets lost by the third generation. Third, okay? By the third generation. So all of this wealth that people build, statistically, by the third generation, all the money is gone. Why? Because people don't have financial education. Okay. So, how can we change that? That is why platforms like this, we're doing what we're doing, because this information does not have to stay here. You all need to teach your kids so that they can teach their kids, so that your money that you're making, right, is not going to get wasted. If you're building generational wealth and they don't teach their own kids, that money by the third generation is going to get lost, because they're not going to learn how to manage it, right? So these millionaires that you want to become, by the time your kids come, they're not going to become millionaires, they'll be multi-millionaires. Okay, so if they don't know the value of money, they'll take the money and squander it, right? So we need to teach them that they need to manage that money properly, because their kids are not going to be multi, they might be mega millionaires, and maybe they're going to be billionaires. You see what I'm saying? So we need to make them understand that yes, there is money, and but money doesn't need to go to their head. Like, For example, I or not for example, we talked about the value of being content, right? Because we need people to stay grounded, and that's why it's important to teach our kids that yes, there is money, but then we also need to know where our enough is, because if we don't know our enough, then we're gonna get carried away with money, right? So there is money, but then there is value in connection and life. There is more value in experiences. There's more value in relationships. Because when we build, when we make this money, right? This money that you're going to make today, because y'all here are going to become millionaires and multimillionaires, right? Your kids will become billionaires. This money is not going to mean anything to them, but you have to make them understand that they don't want to lose the connection with each other, with their families, with their relationships, because otherwise they're going to keep chasing money, and then they can eventually become depressed and sad, because when is it going to be enough? It's not going to mean anything. So it's important that you also teach them that yes, money can buy you a certain lifestyle, but then the real value and importance in life is relationships and loving on people and being there for others. So let's also teach one another that. So money gives you the ability to give back to others. And that's the most fun you can have with money, is being generous. And talking about generosity, tomorrow is going to be our giveaway. So tomorrow we're gonna choose as 6 winners. All right. And hey, Princess Julianka, it's good to have you. The princess showed up. Ah, are we not blessed? um, Tomorrow we're gonna choose our 6 winners. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Those who have been here throughout this 12 days. Tomorrow is gonna be a big day. So tomorrow we're gonna have a Q&A. If you have any questions about building wealth, about managing your money, tomorrow is gonna be 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Cameroon time. So it's not just gonna be winners tomorrow. It's gonna be people who are being here from at the get-go. So I will be choosing the 6 winners, and I will also, if you want to show up, and if you would like to come on live and join me, just let me know. I will invite you on the platform. If you want to talk about anything that you have loved about this 12 days of financial giveaway, let me know. I can invite you on the live. We can chit chat for a little bit. So that would be something that we can do as well. And if you are watching and you are touched by the Spirit to also bless other people, even though we'll be giving our winners, you can also hop on the platform and bless other people. That's the beauty of Christmas. So you can also bless other people. You just don't have to come here to give, to take, right? So let me know if you are moved by the Spirit to bless other people, so that we can together join and bless people tomorrow. Because it is always they say it's more blessed to give than to receive, right? So tomorrow we're gonna be blessing some people. So be here tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Cameroon time. Yeah. But it's been a joy to have you, but I need to go and go drink. I love you for watching.